Hi, welcome to Andrew Buckle Book Haul for the 23rd of January. Just come back from London. I had a lovely time, really great. I love going up to London. Now we've got a really great service from my hometown up to Charing Cross. Makes it so much easier. I can head up within an hour, get off the train, go up to Gosh, go up to Forbidden Planet in London, and also go to the National Gallery and loads of other places, all within a few minutes. So it's great. So I just move. Whereas before I'd go to Victoria. I've never been a fan of Victoria. However, let's just go through the books themselves. This one I got from Gosh. Now, I've been looking at this one for quite a while. They've got a number of these Marvel Masterworks, and they've been charging $35. This was from an estate sale, and they reduced this. Some of them were down to $10. This one, for some weird reason, they charged $15. But still, not complaining. I think it's a great little book. Lorna, the Jungle Girl. I think I've got volume 2. I hope I've got volume 3. I'm quite certain I've got volume 2, not volume 3. I've actually got a database, so I check. Don't always remember. Lorna, the Jungle Girl, Jungle Tales, and Jungle Action. So it's got some great stories. Of course, these are all Atlas ones. Now, they are of their time. They're not, they would never print them now. Well, obviously they printed them now, but they would never create them now, I should say. But they have actually generally got some great stories. You've got a lot of sort of weird ones with tale of lions and all those sort of things. Just a adventure with a lion particularly, which is great. And also some just really, really good artwork. I mean, I love this. Jan of the Jungle, The White Peril. Again, you've got another good old lion dive in there. But these ones, Jungle Action and Jungle Girl, they obviously knew the great titles for the Jungle Girl, Jungle Town, Jungle this, Jungle that. Everything, jungle. This was Jungle Adventure. They didn't actually call the book Jungle Adventure, which is really weird when they call that one Jungle Adventure. Anyway, very strange. Maybe they did call it Jungle. They did do that a lot. You had crime ones. It was crime this, crime that. And then, of course, you had Jungle. Very popular ones. But £15, I was very happy to get that. I love those Marvel Masterwork ones, Atlas ones. I'd love to bring them out again. I don't know why. And hopefully, when they go through all the Marvel Masterworks, which they bring them out in small editions, they'll do those ones. I'm a bit suspicious whether they will. I think they'll miss those ones. I think they'll just be doing Fantastic Four, Spider-Man and Thor. I suspect the Lorna one, Jungle Girl, will not be done. But this one, James Bond by Ian Fleming. Omnibus 01. Now, I've got about 2 or 3 of the other ones. This one, for some weird reason, they come out. This one, volume 1, come out obviously quite a long. This was out ages and ages ago. Just come out in the shops as a sale item, whereas the other ones were sale items number 6 and 7, etc. And I didn't see the one. So as soon as I saw this one, I thought, "Ooh, Casino Royale and Goldfinger, Doctor No." Now, I'm not a super fan of the films. They're okay. I mean, I've enjoyed them over the years. I've watched. But this one, you can see it's got lots and lots of stories. And the thing about them, and I haven't read the novels, the short stories or whatever, so it's really quite nice to actually see the stories in a slightly different way from the films. And that's the thing about, I was just looking through, reading on the train back, I was reading the Live and Let Die, which was one of my favourites, and how different. It's very, very different from the film. Of course, there's no Paul McCartney in it. Weird. It's just the artwork's great all the way through it as well. I just really, really love the artwork. But the stories are fascinating just to see them in a slightly different light, just a different way. James Bond, drawn by John McCluskey, it says there. And John McCluskey, I think they're all John McCluskey. So, yeah, James Bond. Now, I'm not going to turn around and say, "Oh, I know the story," as soon as I see the panel. So you can see the ones. You've got the whole full list there. And that's quite a lot of the films. I mean, Goldfinger, of course. That one, I don't know if Risco, whatever, if that's ever been done as a film. If it's called by something else, I don't know. And maybe if I looked at it, I'd probably think, "Oh, that sounds or looks a bit like one of the other ones." But unfortunately, it doesn't actually have the titles when you go flicking through. And it doesn't have the entry at the top or anything to say that it's Thunderball or. So you're sort of flicking through. I'm thinking, I have no idea. It could be any of the stories. Collects 11. And for $4.99. What a great price for something like that. Now, I have got a lot of these in slightly bigger format because this is from Titan Books and they've done those other series as well. But I like this format. I like this nice compact format. Just great. You can just pick them up and just read some really good stories. And I wish lots of the UK newspaper strips were in this format, it'd be brilliant. Row upon row of all those Fluke or whatever, and Fred Bassett, and well, of course Fred Bassett's been done, but some like Fluke, Tiffany Jones, some of them just have never been collected, not in the way that they should have been collected, personally. Now this one's a really odd one, and I looked at it last couple of weeks ago, because I was up in town a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, should I buy Barbarella? Now I haven't got no Barbarella. I did have Barbarella a couple of years ago, but I thought, oh, I'll get this one. But it was £5, and I thought, it's in German. That was the reason I was a bit against it. I thought, oh, I can't really read German in any shape or form, so I have no idea what that even says. I guess it's something game. Spiegel is normally, I don't know. But anyway, £2. So I thought, well, the weird thing was when I actually came to buy it, the pricing seemed to be a bit odd anyway, so I think it was slightly a bit discounted as well. But I'm not certain this one was one of the greatest of stories. But I'm certain I can work out the story. It's not probably that complicated to work out the story, the general. But look at the. I mean, that is. You talk about wordy. That is pretty wordy, and it's all in German as well to make it even harder. I mean, I have no idea. Served auf der. Oh, whatever. No idea. Couldn't. But you got Barbarella, and I'm certain it's a great little story. And for £2, I thought, why not? I don't know if this venture has been collected in English. It's possible. I have no idea. I probably won't buy it in English, but I'm just saying it's just one of those things I just thought, and I'll get a copy of that. And I assume that is probably the other ones as well. I don't know. They did have a couple other ones in there as well. And I looked at them, I thought, but I chose one. I thought, I'll just have that one, just as much as any of them. Ooh, this one, Spider-Man, The Wedding. Now, I got this one. Those ones were from Gosh. This one was from Forbidden Planet. And I've been umming and ahhing about this. I saw this a couple of weeks ago, and I looked online, saw a few reviews about it, and it said it was brilliant, excellent. And it looks fine. I mean, I've just flicked through it. But it's damaged, of course. It was reduced because it was damaged. And some of the stories look really great, and the artwork looks pretty good. Just flicking through, obviously, you've got the black costume there for Spidey, and you've got Spider there, Spider Robot, Spider Slayer, whatever it was. Of course, Jonah Jameson. But some of the artwork does look a bit rough in places, and I was quite surprised because normally the gallery editions, and this is it's a gallery format, normally is really quite the best quality as far as I can see. But some of it really looked quite not that good. I don't know why. It's very odd. I mean, I say some of the panels, yes, you can really see. And also there's a slight blurriness in places as well. I was looking at some of the various strips. You've got here the Marvel Saga as well. They've got in the back Marvel Saga, which is very nice. Just hit the jackpot. But the thing is, with these ones, and it's got, like I say, the newspaper strips at the back, and and you probably can't tell on this video because, of course, I mean, it's going to be pretty slightly blurry anyway. It's not super crisp, but the imagery is just not that sharp. Larry Lieber, who did it, obviously, and Stan Lee. But it's just such a pity that to me, they look slightly blurry. I'm not certain what the reason, but still, just sort of point that out. Now, this one was a bit of extravagance, but it was down, obviously, normally 60, 70 quid to buy, and this is the cheapest omnibus I've ever bought. And there is a reason. One, it's very badly damaged. You've got obviously a rip through there, but it's actually water damaged. It says here, reduced to clear, water damage. They also had a copy of, was it Doom Patrol? They had Doom Patrol also in Gosh for £5. I think it was Doom Patrol. Don't hold me on that. It might be one of the other ones. But they had that. I think they had a couple other ones as well, £5, and they were water damaged, and they were clearly water damaged. So reduced to clear, £5. I mean, even if I read it once and I put it in the bin kind of thing, at least I've had £5 worth of enjoyment just reading through these great stories. I'm not going to put it in the bin, but I'm just saying that if that was the end of the world, but you can clearly see the water damage there. It's sort of damaged at the bottom. You've got the mark in there. Now, I mean, I've had books before, comics that have been water damaged. In most cases, I've got some comics that are really quite horrible, where they've been damaged over the years. So it's not the only trouble with water damage. Quite often, you of course get that rippling in the book, and lots of the comics in the 70s, of course, came over the ballast. So you've got and you can see that they end up got the damage there. The water And you can see when you turn the pages, there's a slight crinkling of the pages. But they're great stories. And I remember reading quite a few of these. I had quite a few of them. And unfortunately, I've got rid of them over the years. And I think annoying because some of the covers especially were great. The stories, because she lost, I think it was during this period she lost her powers, of course. She'd left her superpowers behind and become an ultra-mod, globe-trotting secret agent with a new costume, etc. And this is a real big change that came to Wonder Woman. Now, I love the Wonder Woman stories, but it had a sort of... Oh, yes, it did have one. That's the one. It had the Bronze Age House of Mystery. And I thought, oh, should I buy that one as well? Probably because it would have had some great stories in. And I think it wasn't because purely like for £5 I would have bought it, but the fact that it would have taken me immense effort to get it home, lugging them, because these weigh a ton. And buying these, and I bought, it's like sometimes I've been comic conventions and there's been artist editions and they've been on special offer, £20, £25 for huge artist editions. Great. But without a car to come back, my mate says, oh, you should always have a backpack, which is of course true. Sensible, you've got Superman, turns up in the story here, and you've got obviously Diane there again. But really, sometimes when you go and pick up this sort of thing, this really, really after 20 minutes, 30 minutes walking around with this starts really weighing down. So it's got a lot of stories, and, well, let's say for a £5, what can you say? So Brave and Bold, and you've got Adventure Comics, World's Finest, etc. Now, the final one, and I'm also going to, at the end of this, well, I could put them in the middle. That's way too complicated for video editing for me. But the Death of the Planet of the Apes. But I'm also going to put a few clips showing Forbidden Planet and Gosh at the end, just outside of the store. And also I'm going to show where Forbidden Planet was in Denmark Street, because Denmark Street has changed. I really enjoyed this, actually. I was reading this on the train. I haven't got all the way through it, of course, but I've got a fair amount of it. I've so far thoroughly enjoyed it. I was in this sale section, 99 pence. I thought, oh, Planet of the Apes. I love Planet of the Apes. And I didn't realise there were so many of them. There's a lot more Planet of the Apes from Titan Books. And you've got a whole long list of stories. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, obviously the films, etc. But also, obviously, other stories as well. So I thought, yes, that is one definitely to read. And it's all set in disappears into the Forbidden Zone, only to return. And truth goes under the deadly wonders of a gleaming city and human citizenry. Can't even say that word. However, that's that. Run through that. Also, I had a great time at the National Art Gallery. I love going there. And I went to see a painting that was by Cranach. I think that's how you say his name. I'm completely wrong probably on that. But it was a beautiful, beautiful image of this woman who was wearing this. She had a sort of dress that's got like M. And I saw it on Facebook. And it mentioned, they always do that in the National Gallery. They always put I get sort of messages put up. And I think, oh, that looks great. But it's got M sort of in her dress. And they're obviously assuming that that's her name. And I was thinking, well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. It's one of those things I love artistry and I love sort of things. Sometimes I look at it and think, maybe. But it also looks just like a pattern. It could easily be, as much as it could be, her name could be O, because she's got a very, very pronounced sort of, necklace that looks really, you might turn, and there's also some weird markings on it. I noticed in the back, slightly in the quality, I was thinking, you don't even see his name, of course, there's no autograph or any signature saying it's great. Obviously they know who he is. I don't know how they know sometimes, obviously provenance of that, but it's just, I love seeing those sort of things, and I love obviously walking around just seeing loads of great Rubens I saw today. It's nice just to sit down for 20 minutes, 30 minutes and just stare at some of these paintings and just really admire the artwork and just explore different areas of it. And it's a great place to go. Now, I noticed they're doing some work at the front of the building. I don't know what they're doing there. Obviously, they're doing some rework in there, so that'd be interesting. And of course, the National Portrait Gallery, which is around the corner, which is a great place to visit as well. That's shut at the moment, I think. Hopefully that'll be open soon. But it's just odd rules to develop. But I guess it's good that they're working on all these things. And I love seeing all the paintings up at the portrait and the National as well. But anyway, I hope you enjoy the videos afterwards. I was going to do one of Dark They Were and Golden Eyed. And that was in Berwick Street and St Anne's Court. But my camera decided I really must take my normal video camera instead of doing my phone, because the phone like runs out of power within seconds of doing any video. So it sort of like runs down. So next time I'm going to do some films, proper films, where I hold it very steadily. And that's another problem with, I think, a phone. Unless you've got obviously a steady cam or something, they really sort of shake a bit where you just can't help. So it's, but the books, I was quite pleased with that. That's what I intended to get. The Spider-Man one was one of the ones I wanted to get. But I wanted to also go up to the British Library, and I was going to renew my membership because I'm a member of the British Library. And I love that, going up there, looking. But I just thought, it's just a bit too complicated. You have to go and show up your ID. You have to show 2 evident items of low dress and all that sort of stuff. And I thought, it's going to just take too much time. So I'll leave that for another time. But British Library is just a great place to go for all kinds. The only annoying thing is with the British Library is that they don't have many comic books. If you're into comic books like I am, it's just a pity you can't go in there and find like millions of. When I went over to America, I went to the Library of Congress, and I just asked, I want to see these comics, and they brought a pile of comics, and there's like loads of great comics on the table, some really amazing issues, and I thought, wow, this was quite a few years ago. It's probably changed now, but it was the British Library, of course, all of the sort of those sort of things, magazines and stuff. It's just so hard to get access. They don't have them easily accessible. So you get I love all the record mirrors and all the melody makers, those sort of things. They've got all those sort of, and Radio Times, you've got piles of those. So those sort of things are just great. But to access all the old superhero comics and stuff like that, those sort of things, even at the Victoria and Albert Art Gallery, they've got a library there, and they've got a fair amount of sort of old Marvel, DC, and sort of computer comic stuff. But it's not as much as it would be, it'd be really great if they had a lot more. But anyway, it's one of those things. Anyway, I hope you found this video of interest, and please put in the comments what sort of things you've been buying over the last couple of days, last couple of weeks. Have you got anything great? Have you found anything amazing at Forbidden Planet or in your local town where all the comic shops you've got? Unfortunately, I haven't got a comic shop in my local town. That's gone now. So when it comes to comic shops, I have to either go to my local one in Chatham, which is it's very good. It's got lots of good old second-hand mags and lots of other things. Or go to Rochester, have a look around the old Baggins shop. I think that's what it's called, Baggins, yes. Or the Oxfam, which is a brilliant Oxfam one for finding old books. As well as, of course, go down to Brighton to go down to Dave's Comics, which is a great shop as well, worth checking out. Now, this is Denmark Street. This used to be Forbidden Planet, where it originally was, as far as I was concerned. Maybe it was elsewhere, but this was the Forbidden Planet I used to visit. I loved going to this, but I'm just going to get run over by a bus as I cross the road. So I'm just going to tuck in here, and you can see the store here. It used to have, obviously the front desk was right in front of the store, and then you go back and you have like all the books, of course. The comics were, for me, maybe it was different sometimes, I don't know, the comics were at the back. We also had like fanzines and had a lot of things, lots of other things. I always enjoyed visiting here. It was always actually quite empty when you used to pop into it, but now, of course, you can see it's a guitar shop, and it's nothing like obviously what it used to be. But that was Forbidden Planet. Then they moved around the corner into New Oxford Street, and then from there they went to Shaftesbury Avenue, and of course all around the world as well. But it was great to come here. I loved visiting here, and they also used to have signings and all those sort of things. So this is the old Forbidden Planet, just a great old store. But this is all changing now. Denmark Street, every part of it, all changing. Just outside of the Cult Entertainment Megastore. One time it was just called Forbidden Planet, but now it's the Cult Megastore. Well, got the good old Taschen book there, The Avengers. Got that one, really brilliant book. Also, of course, got the Batman Ultimate Guide, lots of Batman. Here's my favourite comic shop, Gosh. This is in, it says up there, Berwick Street. You can see Berwick Street, obviously in the heart of London, heart of Soho. And you've got all these amazing books. Bookshop is superb. Downstairs you've got the comic store, and I really love this. These are the current comics. You can see like Wasp, Stargirl, etc. And you can see inside the store there as well. Really a great place to visit if you're coming to London. I love the place, so I'm just going to go inside now and buy hopefully a few books. Well,